to the Tampa Bay Rays, redefining versatility in the major leagues and becoming a two-time All-Star, helping the Rays to 4 postseason appearances. Tonight, Ben returns to the Trop for the first time in an opposing uniform, leading the Kansas City Royals into town. This weekend series against the Kansas City Royals continues, a 6-game homestand for the Rays. And before the game tonight, game 1 of this series between the Rays and the Royals, the former Ray, Ben Zobrist, honored in pregame ceremonies. He'll be in the lineup tonight at second base for Kansas City, hitting second, the longtime Ray from 2006 through the 2014 season. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Rays Baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Well, the Rays won the final game of that series against Minnesota. They have their hands full against this Kansas City Royals ball club, and Ben Zobrist is going to be one of the reasons why.
Well, the Royals are looking to bolster their team at the trading deadline. So what do? They go out and they trade for Ben Zobrist. And this is what we know about Ben Zobrist: a very discerning eye at the plate and a swing plane that stays in the zone for a long time. He has parlayed those two attributes into some very big numbers for the Kansas City Royals. Got acclimated quickly, a .337 average, 11 extra base hits, 4 of them home runs, the 13 driven in, and guess what? Much like always, he's getting it done effectively from both sides of the plate.
Ben is acknowledged coming into the Trop and walking past the home clubhouse to the visiting clubhouse was a new experience for him, a little unusual. We have more on that when Todd Callis sits down with Ben when we return.
A Ray for his 9th and final season in 2014. Zobrist arrived here in St. Petersburg as a skinny shortstop from the Houston Astros, trying to establish himself in the major leagues in 06. In 2007, given the starting job, then sent to the minors before he came back, and then he left his career here as one of the elite players in the league, always on top in wins above replacement around Major League Baseball. Here's Zobrist about returning as a visitor for the first time.
Well, it's different. You know, it's a little awkward, to be honest. There's a little bit of an internal struggle going on in my heart right now, but you know, it's been great overall, just getting to come back here and see people, and very little has changed, you know, since last year. So yeah, it's just been fun memories for me, just walking in, and I almost went into the wrong clubhouse, I think, just by nature. Just excited to see everybody, though. It's special, and it's still special, you know, just coming in, you know, as an outsider now. You know, I still feel like this is home to us in a lot of ways, and we've missed the people here. We've missed the relationships here, and you know, for us, it feels a lot like home. And I said it'll always be our major league home. We'll never spend any more time somewhere probably than we've spent here in Tampa Bay as player. And you know, it's definitely the people here are special, and they've been very special to us as a family. We couldn't have asked for more from the people here.
Ben honored before the game. He will bat number 2 in the Royals lineup. Game will start in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Ben, his wife Juliana, their kids Zion and Cruz honored before the game, and we're ready for baseball. The Royals in town for the first of 3. All the action coming up next with Wayne Stats and Brian Anderson.
As the Rays continue their attempt to remain relevant in the wild card race, they have a lot of getting even to do with this Kansas City ball club. Kansas City in air led by Ben Zobrist. Take a look at the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Now, Cedes Escobar is going to lead off. Then Ben Zobrist hits second in front of Lorenzo Cain. Eric Hosmer, Kendricks Morales, and Mike Moustakas down the middle. Salvador Perez will catch. He'll hit 7th with Alex Rios, the right fielder, hitting 8th. And Paulo Orlando in left field hitting 9th.
Well, Erasmo Ramirez right now sitting at 10 wins, an ERA of 3.66, and you go over his last 3 starts, a 2-0 record, a 2.75 earned run average, and that is in 19 2/3 innings of work. So he's getting deeper into ball games. That always helps. Let's take a look at that Rays defense and see how it's going to line up tonight here. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Grady Sizemore, Kevin Kiermaier, and Daniel Nava. And across that infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, and James Loney, with Rene Rivera behind the plate.
Ramirez after win number 11 here tonight. Rays 0-4 against Kansas City. The Royals dominated that 4-game series between these two clubs in Kansas City. That series back in the first week of July. And so here we go tonight. The Rays in at 63-64. Kansas City with a 13-game lead in the American League Central at 78-49. Escobar in there. The first pitch of this game fouled, a bouncing ball third base side. First pitch presented by Pinch-A-Penny, and it's not unusual to see Escobar in that leadoff spot going after the first pitch. That's how this Kansas City ball club plays baseball.
Yeah, get used to that all series long. They see the fewest pitches per plate appearance of any team in Major League Baseball. Very, very aggressive.
Escobar for the year hitting .266, but .306 in his first plate appearance, and mostly that's been leading off games. And you can see what he's done against the Rays in 29 career games, hitting .355. 3-1. Jeff Kellogg is working the plate tonight, and he will make a pitcher throw a strike and then some. High fly ball back into left center. Grady Sizemore is there, and he'll make the catch for the first out.
Second baseman, number 18, Ben Zobrist.
Well, here is Ben Zobrist. That first pitch is a strike. Zobrist, since coming into Kansas City, is hitting .337, 26 games as a member of the Royals. This is Cabrera, the throw to first, just got it. Cabrera, that's a heck of a play by the Rays shortstop on that softly hit chopper.
And I didn't think that they were going to be able to get him, because from the left side, that ball gets by Ramirez, and it's do or die for Cabrera. And they may take a look at that.
Well, Ned Yost out already. And so here on the second hitter of the game, here's another look.
I think that's going to get overturned, and Ben Zobrist is going to have an infield hit. And you can see Ben mouthing right there, I think I was safe, and I think that he's right.
Yeah, he was sticking around first base. So the initial call out at first.
Not for long.
And that did not take long. It's overturned. So Ben Zobrist aboard with an infield hit. And here is Lorenzo Cain. Kane in the top 10 in hitting, tied for 6th. Strike the count. It's been almost 2 years since Ramirez faced Kansas City. He was a member of the Seattle Mariners, pitched against them on September 3rd of 2013. Had a no decision. Pitched into the 7th inning of that game. And Kane bouncing it foul, 0-2.
And I think that that's one of those starts that you truly can glean no information from. This guy is a completely different pitcher. This team is a completely different team.
No question about that. Both the pitcher and the opposing team having a difficult time when that game was played. And Ramirez, for an example, when you look back at his time in Seattle the last couple of years, he averaged over 17 pitches an inning. So far this year, he's under 15 pitches an inning, and that's a big change from one year to the next.
Well, that's buying into the system, number one, buying into the Rays way of pitching. They have great information, great game planning, and buying in what they want him to do out there. I mean, they tell him, listen, with that changeup, the sweeping breaking ball, the occasional curveball, the ability to locate the fastball, your stuff will play if you follow the game plan. And he's completely bought in, and he doesn't waste a whole lot of time with it.
And that pitch a little wide. 2-2. Eric Hosmer is on deck. The line drive, base hit into center. Kiermaier up with it, with Zobrist advancing to second, holding there. So 2 men on with 1 out. Here's a breakout. The recent pass for Erasmo Ramirez, and then you compare that with the rest of the other starters in the rotation.
Well, you've got a record under 500 and an ERA of over 4, where Erasmo, I mean, look at the difference. He's been one of the most consistent guys. He got plugged back into the rotation on May the 14th, and he has been fantastic. Getting deeper into games as the season has gone along. A lot of that has to do with that pitch count, the ability to get into that lineup for the 3rd time and still have success.
Eric Hosmer takes the pitch, and that's low. Well, this is his 21st start, Ramirez, and his last 18. He's gone 10-3, and in those starts, the team has gone 13-5. Facing a tough lineup here in Kansas City. 1-1.
And his team, as we highlighted, you talked a lot about it in the pregame show, they don't hit a lot of home runs. Fewest home runs in the American League. They don't strike out. Fewest strikeouts in Major League Baseball, and it's not even close. They don't walk a lot. They're going to put the ball in play, and they've got a lot of guys who can run.
Yeah, they're last in home runs, and they're last in walks. What they do, they get big hits in key situations. They have hitters who are good 2-out hitters. They hit well with men in scoring position, and they're aggressive.
I mean, right at the top of the league in doubles and triples and stolen bases. They give themselves a lot of those run scoring opportunities, and they've been extremely clutch. So they can forego the long ball, beat you a lot of different ways.
Upstairs. And here's the other thing they do. We talk about them being aggressive, and it's that way right from the get-go. Look what they've done in the first inning. The run differential.
And that can't happen. If you want to beat this team, you have to score early. You don't want to get into their bullpen, and you cannot allow them to build a lead, nurse it along, and then turn it over to the back end. That's a recipe to lose.
Full count. Hosmer takes it high. 2 men on, 1 out. Kendrys Morales is on deck. Pressure right from the beginning against Kansas City. And that is strike 3 call. Hosmer threw his bat away. He thought he had a walk and is caught looking.
Well, it was a changeup, definitely out over the plate about knee high. It's a great pitch here by Ramirez. And a nice job by Rene Rivera on keeping the meaty part of his hand in the zone and catching that in the webbing down. He made it look better than it actually was.
And if he can do that consistently tonight, there's no reason to think he can't. That's a plus for Ramirez. Kellogg will give a pitcher that low strike. He's not going to give you much up, but he'll give you the low strike if it's presented well. And he got strike 3 right there.
Boy, that's the key, is the presentation. You know, when you talk to Rene Rivera, Curt Casali, you know, these Rays catchers, they talk about those balls on the fringes, whether it's in, out, or below, even above the zone. If they can keep the palm of their hand, the meaty part of their hand, on the corner and catch it in the webbing, you know, that ball may be off the plate, but the hand looks like it's on, and you get that call.
Morales a big cut out front. Change up there from Ramirez.
And you think about an aggressive team, a team that doesn't see a lot of pitches, wants to swing the bat, and Ramirez's changeup, that should play very well.
And Morales out in front again. We talked about this club being good with 2 outs and good with mid and scoring position. And Morales has excelled in both those situations this year in the middle of their lineup, primarily as the designated hitter. So Ramirez in front of Morales right now. Ground ball first base. He's going to get out of that, leaving 2. The Royals do not score, and the Rays are coming in to hit. Grady Sizemore is going to lead off at left, followed by Daniel Nava, and then Evan Longoria. John Jaso, the DH, the cleanup man, followed by Logan Forsythe and Asdrubal Cabrera. James Loney, Kevin Kiermaier, and then Rene Rivera rounding out the Rays lineup.
Now, you may not think of him this way, but Edinson Volquez may be the Kansas City Royals' most consistent starter all season long. If you look there, he leads the team in wins with 11. He leads the team in innings with 158 2/3. He leads the team in strikeouts with 119.
And you alluded to it. If you're going to get this Kansas City club, you better get their starting pitcher, because that bullpen is absolutely shut down. Grady Sizemore takes a strike.
We saw them put that game plan into play last year in the stretch run and in the playoffs. They just shorten the game, make it a 6-inning game.
It's 1-1. Sizemore against Volquez. Grady 2 for 7 against him with a home run. Play the other way. Now it's 1-2. Volquez is coming off a couple of tough outings, particularly his last time out. He's had a couple of no decisions, but he gave up 6 runs at Fenway Park on the 23rd. 2-2 now.
No, he's had a number of starts where teams have been able to get to him, 4, 5, 6 earned runs. But then, of course, on the flip side, a lot of starts where he's given up 1 or nothing. He's primarily fastball, curveball, changeup. Likes that changeup against left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters, especially when he's ahead in 2 strikes.
Now ball 3 to Sizemore. And there's ball 4. The Rays get their leadoff man on.
Let's take a look at the Royals defense and see how it's going to line up tonight. Brought to you by BMW in the outfield left to right. Paulo Orlando, Lorenzo Cain, and Alex Rios across that infield third to first. Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, Ben Zobrist, and Eric Hosmer with Salvador Perez behind the plate.
There's Daniel Nava getting another start in the outfield. Nava tracks the fastball in there for a strike. Nava had 2 hits last night against the Minnesota Twins and a home run in the middle game of that series. 178 overall and 229 in a Rays uniform. One and one. Ground ball headed up the middle. Nava's aboard, pushing Sizemore up to second. The first 2 hitters are on.
Well, this is the plan of attack. Try to generate something early, take advantage of a leadoff walk, a changeup that stays just above the knees. Nava uses the middle of the field, finds a hole, sneaks it through, and the Rays off and running. 2 aboard, nobody out.
11 Longoria up here with a chance to do some damage early. Longoria with a double among the 4 hits Off the Kansas City right-hander. He's got some hang time and headed out of play. A foul ball. Strike the count to Evan.
Now, these are the situations where Edinson Volquez has excelled. Runners in scoring position, but a tall order here. They're there with, at least one's there, but nobody's out.
And a strike call. 0-2.
Throw it again, and it's 3-0 Rays. A little backup hanging slider to get to 0-2.
Pitch it a little bit away.
Well, you're not kidding about Jeff Kellogg.
He's not going to give you much out there. And look, I mean, you could argue that that pitch had a little bit of the zone. You're just not going to get that pitch.
Looks like coffee refills again tonight.
Order breakfast.
My goodness.
It's a ball, 2-strike count to Evan Longoria. Walk and a base hit for the Rays. It's 2-2. John Jaso is on deck. Foul ball. And that breaking ball. So it's still 2-2.
Yeah, Evan got it started just a little bit early. You know, he waits back, I mean, a split second, and he drives that ball. But just a hair early, and you end up fouling it off. That was not one of the better breaking balls we've seen from Volquez.
And a cut and a miss. Longoria out on strikes.
Well, where Erasmo Ramirez really loves the changeup against the lefties, Volquez will throw it righty or lefty, and he saves that one for later in the at-bat. It's been fastball, it's been breaking ball, and then all of a sudden the changeup, and he gets the punch out.
And you're right, he'll throw that changeup almost as much to righties as lefties.
Now, anytime you do that, it's just, you know, you become unpredictable. Not really sure what you're going to get. He's especially good with that in 2-strike counts.
John Jaso. And he takes ball one. Change up.
The ability to throw secondary pitches when you're behind in the count can set you apart. Because most hitters, when they're up 2-1, 3-0, they're looking for the heater.
So takes this one. It's in there. A couple of change-ups here to Jaso to start him. Jaso is 3 of 7, and 2 of those hits extra bases, a double and a home run off the Kansas City right-hander. Big opportunity for the Rays in the first. And now that's a strike call. It's 1-2. There's the home run by Jaso Volquez in Kansas City. Slow bounding away from Perez. Throw down to second, and out there. The Rays lose the base runner. Nava puts up an argument, but he is called out at second.
Well, I think initially as he slid by second base trying to avoid the tag, I think he came off of second base. Did he get back in time? Was the tag applied? It was tough to tell live, but here's the ball in the dirt away from Perez. Sizemore, he's going to get into third. Perez makes the decision to throw out there, and let's take a look right here. Nava sliding wide. Oh, he's saying he got him on the tag before that left hand got to the bag, because the hand stays on the bag the whole way.
Well, the Rays are going to challenge it.
I don't see this one coming back in their favor, but we'll see. It's a tough, when we take a shot, it's second and third with one out, or that's a big second out for the Royals.
Yeah, and I think Nava's going to, I think what he's claiming is that the tag attempt was just that, an attempt that didn't get him.
Yeah. Because, once the hand got to the bag, it slid along the back edge of that bag and it stayed on. It's a question of, did Escobar get the glove to the leg? Did he touch him there? Because the hand never leaves. But see, he... certainly not going to tell from there. Good luck with this one.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a situation like that. It actually sort of goes back to last night on a play. It's difficult. I mean, good luck. They're going to say that he is indeed out at second base.
Now the fun part comes with stance or confirmed.
Yeah, well,
I mean, really.
If you challenge, they confirm it, of course. This is getting out of hand.
We're not, and you know what? I'm not staying late tonight. No. I am not staying late tonight.
The 2-2 to Jason, a little roller first base side, and Velquez gets out of that jam. The Rays lead one. We're scoreless through one. By Toyota. Let's go places. Outback Steakhouse, curbside takeaway, making your steak come to you has never been easier. Order online at Outback.com and by Morgan Auto Group. Megan Morgan, we make it happen. Well, the Rays had an opportunity in the first, got away from them, so we're scoreless moving into the second. And Mike Moustakas leads off the second inning for Kansas City against the shift, and there's a strike.
Well, Moustakas, one of the Kansas City hitters coming into this series, red hot.
This Kansas City club, so good, and obviously pitching's been a big part of their success, especially the back end of the game where you just don't get anything against the bullpen. High popper, and that's Cabrera on the right side of second with the shift on, and so that's the first out. The other thing, they've had some of these young hitters mature. Moustakas won, Hosmer won, Lorenzo Cain. I mean, you look at some of this young talent that has a couple years more experience, and they have a 13-game lead in the AL Central.
I mean, just running away with it at this point, looking to get and secure the best record in the American League, so they'd have home field advantage throughout.
So ball, no strikes to Perez, the catcher. Chopper foul outside of third. A housekeeping note, there was on the move up from second to third by Sizemore in the bottom of the first, had to be accounted for it, so that'll go as a wild pitch against Velquez. Nama was put out at second, trying to advance. 2-1 to count. One out, bases empty, 2-2 the count with Alex Rios on deck. And Erasmo Ramirez on the hill for the 28th time for the Rays, his 21st starting assignment. Holding at 2-2, and Perez walks that one off. It's bad enough if you're a catcher and you take all the bumps and bruises from that position, then you foul something off your foot.
And you got all the padding down there already. I mean, not only, like you said, as the catcher, but look at all that. I mean, from mid shin down, and you get it right off the toe area.
Foul ball again.
Boy, Erasmo Ramirez, he's either all smiles or between the white lines every 5 days, all business, trying to put you away with as few pitches possible.
Yeah, that first inning unusual for him, and that he made 23 pitches in that inning, and there's a base hit. Perez reaching out and sending it into right.
And Dwayne, the comment that you made just a hitter ago about the maturing of these young hitters, a lot of it has to do with this. The ability to take the ball where it's pitched and hit it the other way. Mike Moustakas, a great example of that. I mean, it was early in the year where he already had more hits to left field this year than he did all of last year. And so you get some young guys, got a good idea at the plate, will use the whole field, can run.
Yeah, and that's another reason that when you look at this Kansas City lineup and how efficient they've been and how good they've been with 2 strikes.
Yeah, right on. 2 strikes, short in the swing, middle of the field. A lot of guys are going to try to get you out of the way, so you shoot it the other way.
Yep.
It makes sense.
In many ways, it's a throwback to how the game has always been taught.
And should be again.
Yep. I think especially now, oh, this ball gets away from Rivera, and up to second goes Perez. So a move up. Perez now in scoring position.
Boy, yanked a slider, and it got in and out of the glove of Rene Rivera. That ball into the glove on the fly, but kind of twisted the glove and rolled out.
Yeah, that's a wild pitch, but boy, you'd really love to see that one stopped.
And we'll see if it stays.
One to count on Alex Rios. He lays off. Again, a slider out there. Rios is 14 of his last 29, so you're talking about a very hot number 8 hitter carrying an 8-game hitting streak. Popped up, foul ball right side. Loney is there waiting. 2 gone.
Left fielder, number 16, Paul Orlando.
So here's the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Paulo Orlando. Hitting .240. He has 5 home runs. One of those, a walk-off grand slam against the Rays in Kansas City.
That was not a pretty series if you were a Rays fan or a Rays player or a Rays coach.
This pitch is down. Go back to that walk-off. Brad Boxberger. City sweeping that 4-game series and truly dominating the Rays right from the get-go. An aggressive team. And the strike, it's 1-1. And take a look at this. Go back to 2013 and the Rays record against Kansas City is just 3-14. And look at the ERAs.
Those aren't close losses. Those are getting it handed to you types of losses. Look at the ERAs. Yeah, right, compared to the runs game and not getting it done in clutch situations.
Ground ball into right field, base hit. Perez heads to the plate. The throw's not going to be in time, and down to second goes Orlando. And it's a 1-0 game.
You know, it almost looked like the Rays playing that through right there. You almost would like to have seen that ball cut and get Orlando at second base. That run's going to score regardless, but by letting the ball go all the way home, now Orlando gets out to second base. Here it is, another Royals hitter, a ball away, take it the other way. He finds a hole, and then here comes the throw. Trying to get Perez low enough. Really no cut there. And that ball, by getting through, you know, you cut that thing, you got a chance to nail Orlando at second base.
So here's Escobar with a man in scoring position. Chopped to third. Longoria throws him out, so it turns out no harm done. 1 run scores, 1-0 Kansas City. Rays had an opportunity in the first, but failed to capitalize. In this game tonight, all season, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Logan with 15 home runs, and the first pitch is a strike. One for 3 against Volquez in his career. That was a double. Outside, 1-1. Front.
And you can see Logan. And did you see the look on his face after he swung and missed at it? Looking out there at Edinson Volquez like, you know, save that. Put that pitch in your pocket.
Well, he's going to come right back with it. Worked before. Let's try it again. And he strikes out Forsythe.
You know, that's one of those instances where you may throw the pitch, you know, hoping to get that swing to 2 strikes. And then once you get it, you say, hey, wait a minute, he didn't recognize that pitch. Let's go right back to it. You may not have planned on that going into the AB, but after you see the initial swing and miss, you go, you know what, a 1-2 count, I got some room to play with. Here it comes again.
And that is one of the strengths that Volquez has. If he gets ahead of you, it really is a guessing game. Cabrera takes a pitch down and in. Because ahead in the count, he's confident enough to throw any of 3 pitches. And throws them each close to about a third of the time. Pop. Third base side, that's going to reach the seats. And the count goes to 1-1. People wanting to know why you had to stay late the other night. Well, we both stayed late because we wanted to discuss one of those calls that was challenged. And they have been interesting lately.
Yep.
Those rulings.
That's what makes it so fun is to take a guess on how it's going to come back.
Yep.
It's a crapshoot at this point.
It certainly is. 1-2. And that's all that was about. We did stay late and tried to dissect a couple of those from opposing viewpoints, which was fun. And then we realized, you know, we've been here a long time. We should just go home. So we did. A ball, 2 strikes the count on Asdrubal Cabrera.
I will tell you, I had a lot of trouble falling asleep that night. A lot of trouble.
Yeah, I was trying to justify the time we spent doing that. Well,
and I'll tell you the other thing that was the amount of passion in the booth.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, I think we were the only ones that were upset about it.
That night in the ballpark, yeah. There's one up the middle and a base hit into center. So Cabrera is aboard. And more housekeeping. They're going to change the wild pitch to a pass ball. So there you go. Take the wild pitch away, and it's a pass ball, allowing a move up to third. And we had Todd Callis on that case. So see, he's got some passion on those scoring calls. So Todd making his presence felt.
He always does.
And James Loney fouls a fastball. Got a first pitch fastball, strike 1. That was the one on Ramirez. So they changed that to the pass ball on Rivera. 0-2. Glad I brought the eraser. That's a liner up the right side. Headed into the corner. Cabrera is headed to third. Montoya's going to wave him around. He's going to score. It'll be a double into the corner for Loney, and this game is tied.
Volquez got the sequence backwards. He went fastball in to breaking ball in. So you speed up Loney, then you come with the slower pitch, and he's able to drop the bat head right to it. A lot of times you want to see that breaking ball in there, and then the front door two-seamer after that. But he did Loney a favor, and he made him pay. And that ball rattling around down there allowed Cabrera to come all the way around and score and tie this game.
So now here's Kiermaier with Loney at second base, and the pitch is a strike. Loney's 13th double, his 28th run batted in. Into left center field, that ball will be caught by Orlando. And the toss back to second. They've doubled off Loney. And the Rays are finished, settling for one run here in the second inning. Loney broke when that ball was hit, going for broke. And the double play back to Zobrist ends the inning. And pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackouts and other restrictions applying at MLB.tv today. First pitch is low to Ben Zobrist. 1-0 pitch lined into right. That's going to be over the head of Nava. Off the wall. Zobrist digs for two and is in there with a double.
Well, why not?
2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, he just continues to hit for the Kansas City Royals.
Came in hitting .337 in a Kansas City uniform. Is 2 for 2.
Infield hit and then a mistake, and he drives. You know, he's got that long, flat swing. Still got a quick bat. You see a lot of line drives. That one gets over the head of Nava, and Royals with a threat.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain singled to center his first time. Pitch outside 1-0. One. Kansas City left a couple men on in the first inning, scored a run in the second, and an instant threat in the third on the double by Zobrist. That's a strike, 1-2. Rasmus Ramirez against Edinson Volquez in the opening game of this series. Kansas City in for 3. Low and outside, 2-2.
That's been 4 straight of the sliders by Ramirez, and really, when you see that pitch, especially when it's a little bit further up in the zone, it's not so much a slider as it is an oversized cutter. Not a lot of depth to that pitch. He really tries to sweep it away from the righty and just cause him to run out of bat. Start that pitch on the plate and just sweep it right off.
And he stays away out there with a fastball. The count is full. Hosmer on deck. The one pitch, well, you'll get more than one pitch, but the pitch that Kellogg consistently calls for a strike is that pitch into a right-handed hitter, and sometimes comes off the plate to call that one.
And look where he's set up. Good reason why. That's where he sets himself up. So you would expect some inconsistencies away because he's almost guessing. But the pitch that's in on the righty, he's standing right over the top of. So he's going to be a lot better there.
And he's consistently on that one. Three-2, and that's too low for ball 4. The first 2 men are on base. Right now, let's check in with Todd Callis. Todd?
Dwayne, thank you. With Juliana Zobrist, who is the wife of Ben, of course, and sang the national anthem beautifully. What a night and day this must have been for you and your family, especially to see that video tribute. All emotional and then have to go out and sing.
I know. I was like, way to set me up for success there. Yeah, that was awesome.
What's it been like coming back?
It's been really fun. You know, you're just reminded about all the amazing fans and the amazing staff here at the Trop, and just walking in and my kids going, Mr. Fred and Miss Anita, you know, and all the, you know, the elevator workers and everything too. So it really has been such a family, such a part of our lives for so many years. It's bizarre, but I'm so grateful to be back and get to say hi and give hugs and love to everybody. So.
And we have your 2 little ones behind us here, Zion and Cruz, and there's a third one on the way. They will have a new sibling soon.
They will. November 10th is the due date, so we will see.
Final thing, Juliana, Ben came here 06 in the trade with Houston. You guys were not sure what was going to happen in his career, and then he leaves here as one of the elite players in the game. What about what had transpired here? These 2 come aboard and everything that happened in 9 years.
So much. I remember Zion was 5 days old at his first ball game. Yeah. I can't believe I brought him at 5. First of all, I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend that, but he was 5 days old. Isn't that crazy?
And now he's 6.
And now he's 6.5. And Cruz, you know, was born here in Florida, and so, yeah, this has been our family, our home.
Well, it's great to see you guys again. I know they are anxious to go get to the Rays touch tank. That's a big part of your night.
Yes,
So enjoy the rest of the game, and thanks for talking to me.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, great job by Todd Callis there. Outstanding concentration.
He was a jungle gym.
He was. Cruz happy to see him. 2 strikes the count on Eric Hosmer. This one fouled back. Kansas City with runners all over the place here in the first 3 innings. Yeah, Todd as the mentor down there now.
Making sure that it's on.
Yeah, there you go. Hello. Hi there.
She needs to put in her earpiece.
Another fastball foul back by Hosmer.
A natural already.
Yeah. Great camera presence. There, she's got it.
Found the camera.
Yeah. Ground ball, shortstop. Bobbled for a moment, picked up. Cabrera turns the double play, stepping on the bag, and then with the toss to Loney. So he stayed with it. Got the force at second by stepping on the bag. Zobrist goes to third. He's there with 2 gone.
You know, this is going to be very important for the Rays all series long. Defense this team properly. We've already established that they're going to put the ball in play. They don't walk a lot. They don't strike out. But they've got a very good batting average when they put the ball in play. So if you defense them properly, try to take away the running game, that's your best chance at slowing this offense down. And right there has Jubal Cabrera in the perfect spot, and you get 2.
Kendrys Morales, and he shoots it foul back a third. Strike 1.
That Jeremy Guthrie cutting in. Taking it away. Everything in competition with this team.
Well, when you're on a roll, you're on a roll. You can do it all. And they have, I'll tell you that. There's a strike 0-2. Morales has been big in their lineup. 87 runs batted in. It's a high fly ball, deep center. Kiermaier will go to the wall, and it is gone. Did it hit? It hit the back ring and is out of here. Kiermaier started to climb the wall, and it hit the back ring.
I think it got hung up in that C ring.
Yeah, it hit the C ring. That's exactly right.
But Kevin Kiermaier let you know exactly where that ball was headed. That ball was well struck by Morales. And it got out there to that C ring. Kevin Cash wanted to know exactly what the ruling is, but I think without question, that's a no doubt C ring. Yeah, that's a home run.
Yeah, that's a ground rule.
Yep. And
you hit the C or D ring.
What they're going to take a look at here, but
so he's asking them to take a look.
Well, your center fielder gave it away. He's climbing the wall.
There you go.
Oh, right there. Yeah, right there it hit. Bounced around and dropped straight down.
And if it hits either one of those, it's a home run. See, you can see that one right there. Either the lower 2 catwalks.
Wait, let me stay consistent.
There you are.
Brackets.
So it's going to be the 15th home run of the year for Kendrys Morales, making it a 3-1 game. And I think what Kevin Cash, his point is that it hit the B ring first, then the C ring.
Yeah, and it didn't. I mean, it clearly did not. You could follow it all the way out to the C ring, and that's when it hit.
I mean, I'm not. We're just kind of guessing there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what else it could be.
No, I agree with you. But watching it from where we're perched, you can see that thing going out, and then all of a sudden, it rattles around in that C ring, pretty cut and dry. Here it is. Boom. Find it. Had already hit and bounced, and now it comes down.
Kevin Cash has them reviewing this home run call. Got Jeff Kellogg and Clint Fagan with the headsets on. Looking at the C ring right there.
And here's the thing. Do the umpires in New York even know what they're looking for? You know, they may see it hit a ring. Is it A, B? I mean, do they even know what they're looking at?
Well, that's why when we talked about what we think Cash might be saying, maybe they're in the same situation unless he made his direct point to the crew here. And it's a home run. And again, that batted ball striking either of the lower two catwalks, lights, or suspended objects in fair territory is a home run, and that would be the C or D rings, and that would hit the C ring.
You see it passing the B ring there, and on its way down, bam.
And Mike Mistook, there they are. You see the B ring is right up there. Two and 0 the count on Mike Moustakas now. 2-1. Run in the second, 2 runs in the third for Kansas City. You know, there was another case of Morales who's been so good with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And he hit that home run with 2 outs on an 0-2 pitch. It's going to be a foul ball and into the dugout. So the last couple series with Sano in Minnesota, and now Morales here with Kansas City. Those rings have been under attack. Now this one by Sano did hit the B ring and then fell onto the surface in shallow center in play.
And because it hits the B ring, the ground rule is the ball's in play. You get what you can. He got a double.
Yep.
The B ring's not there. That's probably a 2-run homer. I mean, that ball got up there and banged off that thing right now.
Moustakas with a full count. See right on the bottom there, that's the D ring. Then you go one up C and then to B. And ball 4. Second walk of the inning.
He's trying to get the A some love. It was above.
Yep. Well, you know, in that Minnesota series, Sano did hit a pop-up inside the A ring. That might have been the highest pop-up I've seen hit here. I think Forsythe caught it in the Minnesota series that Sano hit. So they've been attracting a lot of attention up there in the last couple series. There's a strike to Salvador Perez. Sweeps that one away. It's 0-2. Right side, and that will be out of the reach of Loney, short of the bullpen bench.
And this is not normal for Erasmo Ramirez or for the Kansas City Royals. As many pitches now through 2 2/3. Erasmo has been much more efficient than that, and this team typically is not seeing this many pitches.
Ball into left. Sizemore in line to make the catch. They'll retire the side. They scored 2, and it's 3-1, middle of the third. The 30th of August when the Rays take on the Royals, and kids 14 and under receive a DJ Kitty drawstring bag presented by All Children's Hospital, Johns Hopkins Medicine, while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit raysbaseball.com. There's Rene Rivera. Takes a pitch outside, 1 ball and no strikes. He'll be followed by Sizemore and Nava. One. shot to center field, straight away. Kane to the track and makes the catch. A step from the wall for the first out.
Well, Rene Rivera gave it a ride, and we've seen him. When he's able to get his arms extended, the ball will carry to center field. And he hit that ball well, just not quite well enough.
Grady Sizemore. The Rays have had a couple of base runners in each of the first 2 innings, settling for 1 run in the second. Sizemore started the first with a walk. Takes ball 1 here with the bases empty and 1 out. One and one. After the fastball up that time. Now it's a 1-2 count.
Well, these are those situations when you talk about Volquez, you're not sure. I mean, 3 pitches, yeah, 2 strikes, he's liable to go with anything. Whatever he's feeling, whatever's been working.
And back with the fastball, and he gets the foul tip strikeout.
Well, he went up and away that previous pitch, tried to come in there and crowd Grady. That ball ended up leaking back to the middle, but it had good velocity on it. You see where at the 2-seamer ends up coming right back towards the middle of the plate, but he's still able to power it by him.
Well, Daniel Nava. Ball, 1 strike. Volquez has used the changeup to his advantage so far in the early part of this game. It's 2-1. Three and 1 to count. Nava lines it into right. That's going to fall for a base hit. He is 2 for 2. He has 2 of the 4 Rays hits.
Well, Volquez put himself in a bad position. A couple off-speed pitches to get to 3-1, and then tries to overpower with the fastball. And he left that middle of the plate with some elevation. And Nava, I'm sure, absolutely looking for that fastball 3-1. Ropes it to right. Sweet swing there by Nava.
Well, Evan Longoria, 0 for 1. And he takes a strike on the curveball.
Yeah, not your typical curveball, not that 12-6, more of a slurve. It's almost got slider speed, some depth to it.
There's a base hit through the hole. Nava advances to second. Well, he struck out Longoria using the changeup in the first. gives up a base hit on one here in the third.
Right off the end of the bat, you'll see it.
And John Jaso grounded out to first in the first, up in the third inning. With a chance to do some damage with 2 outs. It's blocked by Perez. See Jaso at 289. Now 3 out of 8 in his career against the Kansas City right-hander. That's a strike. It's 1-1. It's a 2-1 count. That is strike 2. Off speed and squares the count. At 2-2.
Right on the corner. See first 4 pitches all over that zone, and now realizing the importance of this pitch, Salvador Perez out there to talk it over with Volquez.
Forsythe on deck. Jaso with a 2-2 count. Forces another pitch on 2-2. Rays have fallen behind early in this one, 3-1. There is ball 3. The count is full.
Well, and I think Volquez wanted that pitch. That pitch looked really good. That front door fastball. Boy, he's right over top of it. Boy, Jeff Culloch, you know, it's a wonder why we're an hour and a half into the game in the third inning.
Yeah, he's not a big call strike guy. He's just not.
I get paid by the hour.
(3-2) and it's foul back. So the runners return and they'll be off again with this next pitch.
Well, Jaso has seen enough pitches and he's seen all of them. So you get the runners in motion, you get a mistake, a ball in the gap. Tie this baby up.
And a foul ball. Just enough to stay alive. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat with Jaso battling Volquez. And he pops him up short left. Moustakas out. That's Orlando in, and he drops it. Nava's going to score. The Rays get their second run. Longoria winds up at third and Jaso at second. So the Rays get a break here on the Orlando error.
How many times have we seen it? Visiting players, especially visiting players with not a lot of experience dealing with the Tropicana Field roof. And he overran it. This ball's popped up. This should be an easy inning-ending play. He comes in too far. Uh-oh.
A letdown for Volquez. Knowing he's going to have to face Logan Forsythe now with 2 men in scoring position. So here's Forsythe. A little ground ball rolled to short. Backhanded pitch by Escobar. Oh, out the call at first. And the Rays dugout to a man think he was safe.
Well, we're going to obviously take a look at this one. Oh, you know what? We have.
Yeah, Brian O'Nora starts to walk away. And Kevin Cash has been ejected. So O'Nora barking back at Cash. Boy, you certainly wish that you had one left, because you'd love to review that one. O'Nora calls Forsythe out at first. Cash has been ejected. And here's a look. It's not even close. He was safe. And now O'Nora ejects him. That adds insult to injury. It's a 3-2 game. Top of the fourth inning here with Alex Rios taking a strike call to begin. Well, that missed call by Brian O'Nora has cost the Rays a run and an opportunity for more. And it has also cost them their manager for the rest of the game. Kevin Cash ejected. And that was a clear miss by Brian O'Nora down there at first base. And he got a little hot about it. Cabrera takes care of this ground ball off the bat of Alex Rios.
And you can see Brian O'Nora, boom, looking right down at it. Foot on the bag, ball short of the glove, and yet he gets rung. And I think he got hot because Kevin crawled into him pretty good there. Went right out there and let him have it.
Well, O'Nora The bottom line, he missed the call and didn't like being reminded of it. It really cost the Rays. Here's Orlando trying to bunt, and he does so foul. That's a strike. Third time that Cash has been ejected this year. One out, bases empty in the fourth. It's 1-1. Cut and the miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Takes care of Orlando on the slider. 2 gone here in the 4th inning in what is now a 1-run ball game.
Well, it's going to be tightly contested all weekend long. This is that sweeping slider from Ramirez. Well, he starts that ball middle in and sweeps it right off the edge of the plate. And a hitter, you see it on the plate as you start your swing and you just run out of bat.
No strike to Escobar. Two. And a wave and a miss. Escobar out on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the inning. On to the bottom of the 4th. 3-2 Kansas City. Tom Foley taking over as the manager, the Rays bench coach after the ejection of Kevin Cash in the bottom of the 3rd. Asdrubal Cabrera takes a strike to begin the home half of the 4th. Kevin had been ejected the first time back in April in a game in Toronto that involved Laz Diaz, and then he was ejected in Texas, or against Texas here, along with Derek Shelton on a ball and strike check swing call, and Mike Esterbrook was involved in that one. 0-2, Cabrera behind in the count.
Well, you see some things that are frustrating. The ball off the catwalk, a misplay early that Ben Zobrist ends up getting overturned. It's a hit. That's frustrating. Then all of a sudden a call that's clearly safe would have accounted for another run, would have tied the game.
Yep. A high fly ball into center. It's Kane waiting for it. Yeah, and it further frustrated the situation in that the call that was overturned, it was missed by Onora on Zobrist. Well, that was overturned. He missed another one. Nothing the Rays could do about it but argue, and then with the ejection. So Cash reminded him that he'd missed 2 calls tonight. This one hurts the Rays, and apparently that didn't sit too well with Onora, but the ejection followed. There's James Loney. That's a strike. One count. So the Rays with a couple runs, 5 hits. They were helped on the error in the third. Oh, ball, 2 strikes to Loney.
And this lineup for the Rays is thickening up just a little bit. I mean, they are far and away having their best month offensively, averaging about 4.5 runs a game in the month of August, hitting for their best average across the board.
2-2 now. It's Kevin Kiermaier on deck. When lifted toward left center, Orlando Kane is there, and he runs him off and makes the catch.
Kelly Leak. Yeah. Kelly Leak in center field said, you know what, you had your shot, didn't go well, I got it.
So 2 gone. Tonight's Flashback Rays Day brought to you by Chrysler. Submit the best vintage photo of yourself using the hashtag Flashback Rays. We'll select the best photo and feature it in tonight's postgame show.
You woke that gentleman up. He was in the throwback Rays jersey with the current hat and out like a light.
Dreaming of times gone by. Want to know the count to Kevin Kiermaier?
It's the 4th.
And the pitch is down. It's 2-0. You know, interesting thing about this, and we've talked about Jeff Kellogg, that's just his interpretation of the zone back there. Only 3 walks in this game, and yet it's been difficult sometimes for Volquez and Ramirez to get a strike that they would like to have, but Kellogg's a stickler.
Yes, he is.
2-1, lifted into left, and Orlando cautiously comes in to make the catch. 3 fly balls. We go to the 5th. 3-2 Kansas City. Great moment in Rays history, presented by Geico. It was on this night. Actually, it was on August the 4th in 2006. And Ben Zobrist got his first big league hit. Lined that single into right center field off Red Sox right-hander Kurt Schilling. And here's Ben Zobrist to lead off the 5th. Pitch is a strike. One and one to count to Zobrist. Up the left side, that's going to drop foul. Zobrist 2 for 2 tonight. Came up and spent part of 06, part of 07, and then really blossomed in 08. Absolutely 7 different defensive positions. And is out on strikes on the changeup here in the 5th inning. Joe Madden took a look at him and told him, you know, you look like a pretty good athlete. I think you can play a lot of positions. And he says, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Well, it's turned out to be a great move for Ben Zobrist and was for the Rays for a long time.
It's really initially how he made his name, his versatility. And then the production started to come along with it. And then it was, well, what position do you want him at? If you had your druthers, would it be second? Would it be right field? Play all over them and play well.
Lorenzo Cain lifting a high foul that's out of play. Strike one. I remember George Hendrick, who knew something about playing the outfield, and he said, this guy is an outstanding right fielder. He can play right field, and boy, did he.
Probably a fight between Tom Foley and George Hendrick. Well, who gets him?
It's 1-1. You know, it's one of those deals that I think a lot of us tend to overlook. When he came to the Rays organization from Houston, he came with a right-hander named Matt Talbot, who the Rays at that time thought could be a starting pitcher, maybe a third or fourth guy in the rotation. He was really the acquisition of interest then. That ball is just foul. Alan Porter making the call. A line drive off the bat of Cain. And Zobrist was a 25-year-old shortstop playing Double-A ball at Corpus Christi. And so he was included in the deal, but the primary focus was the pitcher. That was close, that liner down the left side, but they've decided to forego looking at it anymore. 3-2 now, the count on Cain. Here's another look. It was foul. And ball 4. Second time Cain has walked in this game.
Showing restraint. That's not often shown by this lineup.
Well, Cain is at first with 1 out, and Tom Foley heads to the mound, and he's going to make a pitching change here. So Ramirez is out after 4 1/3. Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Rays make the pitching change. Ramirez, 88 pitches and 4 1/3 tonight. 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. Responsible for a man on as he departs. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. And Xavier Cedeno is on with Hosmer, the left-handed hitting first baseman, coming up.
And another heavy workload facing this Rays bullpen. Down by just a run, and they're going to piecemeal it from here. Keep this game close and hope that their offense can come alive. Xavier Cedeno, I'll tell you, he's been a big part of that bullpen. 52nd appearance. He's thrown the ball very, very well for the Rays, especially over the last month and a half.
Hosmer 0 for 2. Kane, who is 24 of 28 in the steal department, draws the attention of Cedeno. First pitch in there, strike. Curveball from Cedeno. The breakout. Hosmer at 275 against lefties. Most of his damage, however, against right-handed pitching. Skies it to center. Kiermaier is there. 2 gone.
Number 25, Kendrys Morales.
Kendrys Morales.
Well, and for Cedeno, really, it boils down to degrees of movement. You see the sweeping breaking ball, also very fond of the cutter. He'll throw around 89, 90 miles an hour, but all pitches moving, typically away from left-handed hitters, in on righties.
Low to Morales. Morales hit the home run from the left side of the plate on an 0-2 pitch in the 3rd. We talked about how aggressive this team could be, and they're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. In fact, through the first 3 innings, they had 9 hitters with 2 strike counts on them and picked up 4 hits and 2 walks with 2 strikes on them. Of various accounts, of course. But you go 4 for 7 with 2 walks and 2 strike counts. It's a pretty good little run when they scored all 3 of their runs. One and one. Two gone. The runner at first is Kane. Two.
A slide step cutter down and in to get to the 2 strikes, and see those fingers off the side of the baseball. Subtle, just misses the bat.
Chop right side. That's open, but Forsythe gets over there and cannot field it cleanly. He had a long way to go because they were still overloaded and shifted with Morales up there. Forsythe came a long way to his left, but could not make the play.
He's got to come all the way this way, and it's a slow chopper. And realizing time is of the essence. When he gets there, he's got to be quick, and he fields, and that ball just, as he goes to transfer to the throw, shoots right out of the glove and never able to come up with that baseball. And the thing is if he would have still had time, a nice, wouldn't even have to overthrow it, and he would have got Morales.
First and second with 2 outs for Mike Moustakas. Ground ball back to the hitter. And a high toss by Cedeno, but corralled by Loney. 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 3-2 Kansas City. Bottom of the 5th inning. Rays invite you to the Trop for Heroes Day, Friday, September 11th, when the Rays take on the Red Sox. Purchase the special ticket package and receive a Rays Heroes Day hat. For tickets, visit raysbaseball.com/special events. Rene Rivera leads off, and he takes the pitch for a ball. Rays got a run in the 2nd, another run in the 3rd. Side to Rivera. And Andrees, who had been up in the bullpen, still active down there. Two and one. Top of the order next. It's Grady Sizemore on deck. Out on strikes.
You know, the interesting about Edinson Volquez and watching him is his stuff is not overpowering. At the same time, he's not a real command guy either. It's like he tries to get his pitches to certain areas. You start to think about the fastball, you think inner half, outer half. He's not a real precision type of guy, and yet he's not going to be able to rear back and throw it out over the heart of the plate at 96, 97 miles an hour either. So you feel like you're going to get some pitches to hit like that.
Sizemore fouls it back. Strike one. That was a fastball right there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Perez is set up in. He wants to come in. He lets that ball leak right out over the plate, right into Grady Sizemore's swing. It's 93. It's not too hard, and it's just fouled off. Those are the pitches you got to take advantage of.
And now Sizemore's down in the count. That changeup continues to be a big pitch for him.
Well, that is true. That is absolutely true. He does not have to be fine with that pitch because of the action on it, taking it right down towards the dirt.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. And he's not afraid to throw 3 or 4 of those in a row. 4 strikeouts. 3 of his strikeouts have come with the change.
There's another.
Looked it into center field. Kane is there to catch it. 6 in a row retired by Volquez. And tomorrow's starting pitchers presented by Chevron. Chris Medlin will make his 2nd start out of the bullpen, and Jake Odorizzi on the hill for the Rays in search of his 7th victory, making his 22nd start. Pitch is a ball to Daniel Nava. Nava singled in the first, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Takes that pitch off the plate. Up the middle and out of the reach of Escobar. Nava is 3 for 3. 2-out single will get Longoria to the plate.
Well, it's been a couple of times here tonight. Daniel Nava's used the middle of the field. And this ball out of the grasp of Escobar. 2-out hit. Every hit important in a 1-run game.
So Nava's aboard, and Evan 1 for 2 tonight. And a soft little liner out to Zobrist to retire the Rays. They get a base hit, leave a man. We're through 5. It's 3-2. dribbled home a tying run in the second. Kenders Morales hit the C ring with this shot in the third, connecting off Erasmo Ramirez. That made it a 3-1 ball game. Rays got a run in the third. And that popper by John Jaso, misplayed by Paulo Orlando. That scored Daniel Nava, and then the Rays thought they had a tying run on the missed call at first by Brian O'Nora. And for his vociferous argumentation, Kevin Cash was ejected. So we go to the sixth. New pitcher. And Andriese in the game. It's his 16th appearance, and the first pitch to Perez in their breaking pitch for a strike. Line drive into right, charged by Nava, and he's there to make the catch. So one away here in the sixth inning. Cedeno finished out the fifth. 2/3 of an inning and 1 hit, no runs. And now it's Andriese.
Well, Andriese has that ability to give you some length if you need it, if you want it. Well, everything now is about throwing up zeros until that offense can scrape something together. However you have to do it.
Want to know the count to Alex Rios. That's a strike. 1-1. Pitch outside. Out of play. The count is 2-2. Rays have been out hit by one, 7-6, trailed by a run, 3-2. And Rios, who's been a hot hitter lately, up here with a 2-2 count against Andriese. Back into the top of the screen. Andriese up in the neighborhood of 92 to 93 with that fastball.
Well, we've seen him incorporate that elevated heater. He gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of hitters looking for the ball down against him.
There's a cut and a miss. Rios out on strikes on a breaking ball. 2 gone, bases empty. We'll check in with Emily Austin. Emily?
We may not see him tonight, but Alex Colomé has made quite the transition from the starting rotation to the bullpen. He's retired 18 of his last 19 batters faced, including 2 scoreless innings last night. Kevin Cash said before the game that the Rays have plenty of guys that can go out there and just get that 1 inning, but they've lacked a reliever that's been able to get not only big outs, but multiple outs. Until Alex Colomé came into the picture, he's built up enough to throw 30 to 40 pitches a night, Cash said. And not only that, he's convicted in throwing his pitches, which according to the manager is a nice weapon to have.
Pitch is down. It's 1-1 to Orlando. Well, Alex Colomé has shown that he may make a big difference in that bullpen late.
Well, we'll think with Jake McGee going down, you know, one of your big guys that you count on for big outs late in the game, someone's got to fill that role. I mean, it's a different back end of the bullpen now than it was a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago. But Alex Colomé has not only shown the ability to transition into that role, but to give you multiple innings. We've seen it twice now, where he's gone out for 2 innings and not lost anything and been extremely effective.
Just a little piece of that one foul.
See, it used to be, you know, get the starter through 5, and then it was 1-1-1-1. Now it's get him through 5, and it's 1-2-1. Different formula.
Two.
But just think where this bullpen would be, you know, without Colomé. Xavier Cedeno has really stepped up. He's been on quite a streak. So was Brandon Gomes, for that matter. You're going to need all of them to be hot down the stretch.
And a chop towards short. Cabrera makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3-6 for Andres. 3-2 Kansas City. From around the league, MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the 6th inning. Finds John Jaso leading off and lifting a fly ball towards center. Kane is right there. One pitch for Edinson Valquez. One out. Well, the wild card standings coming into play, counting this one, the Rays with 35 left. And they have a 2.5 game deficit along with Baltimore. New York, the top spot on the wild card, then Texas, and then a half game up on the Angels and the Twins. The Orioles in Texas, in Arlington, tied 1-1. That game's in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here the Rays are down by a run in the 6th. Logan Forsythe takes a strike. Logan has struck out and has grounded out to the shortstop. Two. Forsythe down on strikes. He got it back in the 2nd inning on a changeup. Strikes him out here in the 6th. Same thing.
Yeah, and really no surprise. Trying, get him to 2 strikes and then go back to that pitch. He got the swing and a miss to get to 2 strikes in that first at bat. And I think that was one of those pitches that you say, you know what, I'm going to go right back to it. And now you've got that logged away, and Logan's having trouble with it. A lot of hitters do.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. His 1-out hit in the 2nd inning led to the first run for the Rays. Rattles it into the screen.
You know, the big thing about that pitch, when you're throwing a changeup, and I don't care what your grip is, it boils down to arm speed. The hitter's swinging at your arm speed. And that's why with that pitch, a lot of times you don't have to be as fine. If you get location on top of arm speed, then it's unhittable. But even sometimes, that's a pitch with the location doesn't have to be that great, but they'll swing at the arm.
1-1.
Volquez has that ability to have great arm speed, keep the ball in the zone around knee high, and then as you start your swing, it bottoms out, and before you know it, Perez is scooping it, and you've come up empty.
And the fastball foul right back. It's a ball to 2 strikes. The Rays were pushing Volquez in the first 3 innings. But nothing down the middle part of this game with the exception of a 2-out single from Nava in the 5th. Ground ball. Diving stop from short right field. Zobrist makes the play. And Cabrera out number 3. So they had the shift on, denying Cabrera right field, and Zobrist stretching out made the play. Canterfield tonight. This is Flashback Rays Day, brought to you by Chrysler. Submit the best vintage photo of yourself by using the hashtag Flashback Rays. We'll select the best photo and feature it in the post-game show. Top of the order for Kansas City, Alcides Escobar, and the pitch is a strike. And Andrees beginning his 2nd inning of work at a 1-2-3-6. Right there is strike 2. Then Zobrist next, and then Lorenzo Cain. And strike 3 on the outside corner. Second time Escobar out on strikes, looking this time on a pitch away.
Well, how about the return here of Ben Zobrist, getting it started with a little infield hit. Originally, he was called out. They would take a review. He said, I think I was safe, and he was absolutely right. Then he gets a mistake out over the plate, doubles off the wall. We just saw the play to close out the bottom of the 6th inning.
So he's 2 for 3 with a run scored tonight. 1 strike to count this time around. Down to third. Longoria is there, shaded him to his left and made the play. So a nice play by Evan to retire Ben Zobrist.
Ben trying to take advantage of that open left side. Basically, you had one guy over there patrolling. It was Longoria, and he flagged it down.
Center fielder, Lorenzo Cain.
2 up and 2 down. Lorenzo Cain, who has been on 3 times with a single and 2 walks. And that is a strike.
That was a nasty breaking ball. I mean, Matt Andriese, I tell you, he's been sharp here tonight, not wasting a whole lot of time. Get it, throw it.
16 of his first 20 pitches for strikes. That's foul. So that's 17 out of 21.
And very little time in between. You just go back to that at bat with Alcides Escobar. 3 pitches, just couldn't get the bat off his shoulder.
And a cut and a foul ball. That was a breaking ball. Cain shaking that one off. 0-2. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Kansas City coming in 78 and 49 on the year. The 13-game lead in the Central. Rays trying to get to 500 and stay in the wild card race. Shot to center field. Kiermaier back there for it. He's got it. It's a 1-2-3, 7th inning stretch time. Rays down by a run. Tonight, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show, presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Jay Coterizzi after his 7th win. We'll hear from him. He'll be on the mound opposing Chris Medlin tomorrow. And Orestes will break down Alcides Escobar. He's having an outstanding year at the plate and in the field for Kansas City. James Loney. Pitch is a strike. Loney, then Kevin Kiermaier, and Rene Rivera do. It's 1-1.
Well, you know how we talk about every now and then James Loney will pick a spot to turn it loose? They have been pounding him in with the breaking ball, with the fastball all night long. This may be the time to look to get it going quick. There you go.
2-1. You saw Franklin Morales in the Kansas City bullpen. The Rays have Steve Geltz up in theirs. Morales, the lone left-hander out there for Kansas City. Two. Loney with the RBI for the Rays tonight. The other run scored on Orlando's error. Liner, and it's right to Moustakas at third. So one away in the seventh. Been a long time since we've heard from Todd Callis. Here's Todd now. Todd, what's up?
Dwayne, this is what fans are going to receive tomorrow. The Outlaw figurine right there. While supplies last, fans get this Kevin Kiermaier Outlaw figure. It's got a complete with the duster coat right here. And the coat comes off, and he's got a little uni under there. And you know what? It's true to life, too. You can fly around. It'll climb on walls. It'll lift its leg over the center field wall. And it'll leave its feet for no apparent reason. So the Kevin Kiermaier Outlaw figure, if I can get the coat off, right there. Kevin Kiermaier Outlaw figure tomorrow while supplies last. Here's how you get it. Go to 888-FAN-RAYS, call them up, or RaysBaseball.com. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
The subtle reference of the leg over the center field wall. You got to go back and check that out. It's pretty good.
There's a strike to Kiermaier. It's 1-1. It's quite a visual image.
Just imagine. Actually, don't imagine anything. Better for everybody.
Ground ball to short. Escobar. And the pickup and the throw, getting the hustling Kiermaier. 2 outs here in the seventh. But since that missed call back in the third by Brian O'Nora that denied the Rays the tying run, the Rays have had nothing at all, with the exception of the 2-out single by Daniel Nava in the fifth. And now it's Rene Rivera. The breaking ball there misses.
Well, what we've seen from Edinson Volquez is he started working both sides of the plate, coming in, moving back out away. The changeup has played an important role. Start to get the hitters a little bit off balance.
Getting out of there, Rivera on the breaking ball that stayed up and in a bit. It's 2-1. Volquez with 5 strikeouts. All have been swinging third strikes. He's used that changeup for that. Go to 2-2. Rivera hit a long fly ball to center field in the third, sending Kane back a step from the wall and that 404 marker. And it's now 3-2. Texas has taken a 2-1 lead. They're in the bottom of the fifth at Arlington. They lead the Orioles 2-1. The Yankees lead Atlanta 9-3 in Atlanta in the bottom of the 5th. And ball 4. The Rays get a base runner with 2 outs. So the Rays will have the top of the order due, and Grady Sizemore scheduled to hit. Ned Yost marches to the mound. 6 2/3 tonight from Edinson Volquez. And that's it for the Kansas City right-hander. Responsible for a man on, a couple of runs allowed, 1 earned.
Well, the Rays' best opportunities came in the first 3 innings of the ball game. They pushed him a little bit, scored a couple of runs off of him, but then he settled in through the middle part of this game. He got the changeup working. He used both sides of the plate. Became very, very effective, and now with 2 outs, a walk to the 9-hole, and Grady Sizemore coming up is going to bring on Franklin Morales.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Well, this is why you don't want to trail this team late in games.
And I don't think that Ned Yost minded whoever the Rays were going to throw in there. When you look at the batting averages against Franklin Morales, almost the same, lefties and righties. He's given up 1 home run, and that was to a left-handed hitter.
Brandon Geyer pinch hits for Sizemore. 54th appearance for Morales.
Not a huge strikeout guy, but he has kept the ball in the yard. Very good ERA.
One. Geyer 0 for 3 in his career against Morales. With 2 outs, a base runner. Rivera, the runner at first. The bullpen ball loose from the Kansas City bullpen. Luke Hochevar is loosening out there. Steve Geltz continues to throw in the Rays bullpen. Two and one. And now he's hit by the pitch. It's the 18th time he's been hit by a pitch. He's tops in that department. In fact, these two teams have 5 of the top 10 hitters hit by pitches this year. And he'll just take it on the shin right there.
And he's not going to let you know it, but that didn't feel good. You know, a lot of times he leans in, he'll take him in the thigh, in the meaty, part of the body. But that one got him right on the shin, and you could see the look on his face. That ball, there's just no meat down there. There's skin and bone, and it got him flush. Hides it well.
Well, with the runner at second being Rivera, the Rays are going to send Tim Beckham out there to run for him, and he represents the potential tying run. So they'll have Beckham at second and Geyer on first with 2 outs, and Daniel Nava now to turn around and hit right-handed against Morales. That hit by pitch for Geyer ties him for the team record with Sean Rodriguez, who was hit 18 times as well in 2011. Pitch is down. Nava 3 for 3 tonight.
And Morales really hasn't been close. His fastball's arm side right into the dirt. Or you think about Nava too, using the middle of the field. He's done it effectively tonight from the left side. We've seen him hit balls hard up the middle, right-handed. He's being played pretty honest here, so that middle of the field wide open.
3 hits tonight, now up to 289 in a Rays uniform and 202 combined with Boston and the Rays. There's a take for ball 2. The Rays' first opportunity since the 3rd. We're in the 7th. Beckham back there at second.
Starting to beg for an out now. A 2-out walk. He comes in. He hits Brandon Geyer. He's behind 2-0 here to Daniel Nava. Really hasn't been close to the strike zone.
Ground ball headed toward the middle, but Zobrist is there, and the toss to Escobar for the force play retires the side. Rays lead 2, down by 1. Game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. All the scoring done in the first 3 innings. Kansas City a couple in the third on a home run by Kendrys Morales. And that accounts for the difference in this game. Ben Zobrist back 2 for 4. Brandon Guyer stays in the game. He'll play left, and JP Arancibia takes over behind the plate. First pitch here in the 8th is a strike to Eric Hosmer, a fastball. 6 in a row retired by Matt Andriese. A big cut and a miss right there on a breaking pitch.
Boy, how good has that curveball been for Matt Andriese? He is really, really spinning that baby here tonight.
Hosmer stays alive, pounding that one into the seats. Pitch is upstairs. Two and two. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk to Hosmer. First base runner given up by Andriese.
Designated hitter, Kendrys Morales.
Now Kendrys Morales, who was homered and singled, he's 2 for 3. Morales hitting his 15th home run of the year in the 3rd.
Well, right now, that's the difference in the game.
Upstairs it came on an 0-2 pitch off the C ring.
On its way down.
Hosmer over there at first. Big cut by Morales, and he fouls it back. And a fastball up, and he was swinging away.
And usually Matt Andriese, he's not up in that area until he wants to be. Typically with 2 strikes, you know, he was so sharp, 6 up, 6 down, and then, you know, really had Eric Hosmer in a hole. Ended up losing him, leadoff walk. And now you have to go to work because you cannot allow the Royals to extend this lead.
And there's a breaking ball that he drops over. Took a little something off that one. It's 1-2.
Less velocity, tremendous location.
And a cut and a miss. Came back with a fastball. Breaking ball for strike 2. Fastball for strike 3.
Boy, he played them off each other very nicely. The breaking ball out there, and then he powers the fastball. Gets it right over the swing of Morales. Not cutting a whole lot down right now. I guess when you've hit a home run earlier in the game, you're not going to cut down.
Here's Moustakas. 0 for 2. He drew a base on balls in the third. Fastball is off the plate end. 1-0. Strike, the fastball. Roman Herrera busy in the Kansas City bullpen. Two and one. Angels have lost in Cleveland 3-1. And the Blue Jays knocked off the Tigers 5-3. Not that it's altogether a surprise, but Tulowitzki hit a home run. Donaldson hit one. Bautista hit one.
I think Tulowitzki and Donaldson went back to back.
Yep, that's 35 for Donaldson. Two and two on Moustakas. Missed the fastball. One out with a runner at first. A tap foul on a curveball. Holds the count even at 2 and 2. Salvador Perez on deck. Fly ball. Kiermaier there waiting. So that takes care of the Kansas City third baseman. 2 outs in the 8th.
Well, after that opening walk, a nice rebound here by Andriese to get the next 2 Royals, get right back on track, utilizing the fastball with a little bit of elevation to it for the strikeout, the pop-up.
Yeah, to this point, this has been a great job by Andriese, given that Ramirez worked 4 1/3. They got Cedeno in there for 2/3 to close out the 5th. Andriese 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, 1, 2, 3 in the 7th, the leadoff walk in the 8th. Now the last 2 hitters have been retired. Here's Perez. The fastball is too close to him. 1-0.
I mean, he's come in, he's kept this a 1-run game, and he's helped protect that bullpen by giving them the length. Boy, a huge outing so far.
And the fly ball, short left. That's Geyer. He's got it to retire the side. Man left on will go to the bottom of the 8th with Evan Longoria due to lead off. Braves down 3-2. SunTrust. New checking options that work as hard as you do. By Kubota. To find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers.
Well, this is truly a rally stash.
The Rays need it here as they come into bat in the bottom of the 8th.
One of those is real.
Enter and sign in, please. Kelvin Herrera, the new pitcher, facing Evan Longoria, who chops it to short. And Escobar, a high throw, but a shuffle over at first, and Hosmer takes care of that throw.
Yeah, that's always impressive with these first basemen. They get over there, get ready to take a throw. You realize the throw is high, so you've got to cross over the first base line into foul territory while keeping your foot on that bag. Alcides Escobar's got this play and a little bit high, get behind, scrape that foot across the top of the bag.
John Jaso, he misses the fastball, and Kelvin Herrera can get that fastball up there in a hurry. Brad Boxberger is limbering up. '98 on that one, and it's 0-2.
Well, it's been 97, 98, and this is the formula the Royals have used to ride to success. Early leads, go to the back end of the bullpen. These power arms.
And a cut and a miss, 99 on that one. So he powered it by Jaso.
Well, he just climbed the ladder in velocity. 97, 98, and then 99 tight.
Logan Forsythe. Pitch is down. You know, Herrera with that great arm and that 98, 99, at times 100 velocity. And we saw Jaso, pretty good left-handed hitter, out on 3 pitches. Lefty's hitting only a little over 140 off him. And a liner into center field. That's going to drop in front of Kane. And Forsythe has a base hit on one of those fastballs in the neighborhood of 100.
Well, leave it to Logan Forsythe. Boy, just quick and short to the baseball. Ball trying to bore its way in on him, and he drops it right in front of Kane, who had trouble coming up with that ball.
Cabrera singled and scored in the second inning. He scored the first run for the Rays tonight. They have 2 so far.
And he will be cheating and trying to lose this baseball. I promise you.
To look at one up and away at 96. One. Cabrera has 1 hit against Kelvin Herrera in 5 at-bats, and that hits a home run. So he's been up there looking for it before.
Yeah, well, this would be the time.
Two and one. center field, cutting across. Kane is there, and he makes the catch. The Rays are out, leaving a man aboard in the 8th. Still down 3-2. First pitch from Geltz is a strike. But wide, it's 1-1. Geltz last worked Sunday in the 8-2 loss to Oakland, and he took that loss. Out of play, 1-2. Cut the miss. Rios out on strikes. He had entered the game with an 8-game hitting streak, 0 for 4 tonight. And that's the 8th strikeout posted by Rays pitching. We'll be with you at 5:30 tomorrow. That's an earlier start. Our coverage begins at 5:30. Jake Odorizzi is after his 7th win of the year. Follow Orlando in the box. He drove in a run with a base hit in the 2nd. The pitch is a strike. It led in a run when he dropped the pop fly off the bat of John Jaso back in the 3rd.
I was going to say his plus minus tonight is a flat 0.
Even on the night. 1-1. Geltz's job is to keep the Royals right where they are and give the Rays a shot at the bottom of the ninth. It's upstairs. It's 2-1. Two-1 on its way to Palo Orlando, and he misses that one. Another fastball from Steve Geltz. The Royals have Greg Holland busy in their bullpen. Popper, short right, out from second. Forsythe, 2 gone. 2 up, 2 down against Geltz. We'll go back around to the top of the order. Alcides Escobar. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. One. We got the slider.
A little frisbee of a slider. You know, Steve Geltz. It's amazing how he can so often miss bats with the fastball and the slider. Almost comes directly over the top. That ball stays true.
So 2-1.
It won't light up a radar gun, but it's got that extra little jump life at the end. Seemingly just hops over a lot of bats.
Ground ball sharply hit. Nice play by Longoria down there in the hot corner. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. Rays will have James Loney to lead it off. Then Kiermaier and Aaron Stevia do. Into the bottom of the ninth inning. On a night when Ben Zobrist makes his initial appearance here at Tropicana Field wearing a uniform other than the Rays. And Greg Holland closer on for the 43rd time for Kansas City to work the ninth.
And you can see he's had some issues with the walk, averaging 5.3 per 9. He's not been infallible.
So here's Loney. He goes after the first one, lifting a fly ball to the left. And Orlando's there to catch it. So that's the first out. Well, Holland brought on against the Orioles in a non-save situation yesterday. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits before the Royals eventually won that game 5-3. Now here's Kevin Kiermaier against him. 25 pitches yesterday for Holland. Kiermaier takes a strike. Well, you'd like that Loney matchup. He was 3 for 7 off him before that fly ball to left to open the bottom of the ninth. Now 0-1 to Kiermaier. And he's down in the count, 2 strikes.
Well, how about the location of the 2 pitches? The fastball, the backdoor slider. You can't be more precise than that.
And Kiermaier misses that one, the pitch in the dirt. Perez down to first. So a fly ball and a strikeout. It's 2 up and 2 down in the 9th inning. And it's going to be up to J.P. Arancibia now.
Well, they wanted that slider down and in. It stays middle of the plate down. And I think that ball, after seeing the 2 pitches away, Kevin a little over anxious there.
Arancibia's first plate appearance took over in the 8th behind the plate. And did he check? He did not. That's Brian O'Nora down there at first saying that he went around.
That was a slider. Close, right up to that line, and Brian O'Nora said he went a little bit too far.
Wave and a miss. Slider again.
And you can't imagine Greg Holland abandoning that pitch, shying away at all. He got the check swing, strike 1, the swing and a miss, strike 2. And you would bet that Arancibia is going to see a couple more.
Oh, and there is strike 3 on one that really sort of backed up.
Yep, that was absolutely a backup hanging slider. It just caught Arancibia by surprise.
So it's a 1-2-3 ninth, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Holland. And the Kansas City Royals take the first game of this series 3-2. Here's the final pitch.
Boy, that's just a cement mixer.
Tampa Bay Rays would like to thank you for your attendance this evening. Rays and Royals return to Tropicana Field for game 2.
3-7-1 for Kansas City. They leave 7, 2-7-0. 7 men left for the Rays. Volquez will get the win. His 12th. Ramirez the loss. He's 10-5. 29th save for Holland. Took 3 hours and 1 minute to play it. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Rays and the Royals. We'll be with you at 5:30 with our coverage. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast and not the outcome. Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, is next.